the community to move on. Again, I really view it as an opportunity for, new leadership or, the community to kind of go in a direction that I may not have taken it. And, for better or worse, maybe one day we'll realize, how good we had it. So I really do want to, yield fully. And, what I've kind of, thought about or kind of compared it to in the business world is like kind of like when a CEO steps down and, remains with the company as executive chairman of the board. And, it's like, that's bullshit, right? You're like, oh, like, I'm not the CEO anymore. I'm not the president. I'm totally like, hands off guys. Right. But then like you're chairman of the board, like you're there, you can meddle, and there's baggage, right? Because, especially when it's the founder, or somebody who's been, had this long tenure with the company. I mean, there's a lot of baggage that, goes along with having that person continue to be involved in any capacity. And so I really view my departure as a giant reset button, again, for better or worse, for, the transition team or whoever ends up being that long-term successor, to, make it their, again, hopefully incorporate a lot of feedback from the community, maybe in ways that I didn't, but, to kind of go forward. So, I do plan to, not, and I don't want to be financially or legally responsible for 4chan. So, I will at some point be, transferring ownership, and I honestly have no idea what that looks like because, that's the, kind of what I'm embarking on now is trying to figure out again who that long-term successor is, or his successor or successors. It would probably be my preference that it goes to some sort of a organization of some kind. Again, maybe that's a group of the volunteers or some other organization. Because I realized in this whole succession planning thing that it's, I really wouldn't wish my past 10 years upon anybody else. Again, I'm very grateful to them and, learned a lot and had these wonderful opportunities and experiences. And again, really do truly feel very warmly about, the community and everything that's happened these past 10 years. But, again, being a punching bag for millions and millions of people is not that fun for most people. Really, I think the only reason I was able to kind of deal with it over the years is because one is, again, just my general attitude towards life, which is, very kind of happy-go-lucky and again, very kind of not blasé, but like very, Zen's not the right word either. But, again, like I've always been really amused when people think I'm angry on 4chan because, again, anger is just not something I often feel. And if I do, it's actually usually almost 100% of the time I'm angry at myself. So, but I think the only reason I've been able to kind of have such a kind of even keeled, relationship with the site or, just my emotions in general is that, I think about it similar to, it's kind of like the boiling, here are three analogies. They're all kind of over the place, but, one is kind of like boiling a frog. If you throw a frog into boiling water, it jumps out. But if you, boil it over time and it croaks because it kind of sneaks up on it. Or maybe a better example would be, somebody who earns their wealth over time versus somebody who wins the lottery. The people that win the lottery tend to, blow that money within a certain number of years, where somebody who's kind of worked their lifetime and kind of earned their wealth, probably knows a little bit more about, managing money because they have the luxury of time, right? And they've built that kind of foundation. They have the kind of the tools to know how to do that. And I think that, managing 4chan and again, dealing with the kind of, the emotional burden of it was like that. And, I was 15. I've run 4chan all through my adulthood and, those really formative teen years and kind of, early adult years. And so, it kind of grew with me. I grew with it. It kind of snuck up on me. And so, none of this, again, 4chan wasn't an overnight success. It didn't really kind of, it didn't really kind of, peak overnight or something like that. It wasn't like this overnight sensation. And so I had this luxury of time to kind of grow as a person and, kind of figure out how to, manage my relationship with the community. And my big concern, if I were to leave it to, say, a single individual, is one that it's hard to find anybody qualified, in that sense. In fact, I'll tell you the one person in 11 plus years, and I guess I've never, released this before, but I did actually try to give it to somebody about a year or two ago, who I really felt was one of the only individuals I've met in ever, that I really truly felt, was, a good person. It's not true. I've met a lot of good people, but, kind of had this, assortment of really desirable traits, which were, I mean, just a really good person, somebody who's used the community for a very long time, really understood it, has technical skills, has a real, I think, intuition about, what people want and whatnot. And I essentially offered him the opportunity to basically just take it off my hands. It was like, you get to be, if you want to be me, you can be me. And he declined, which all the more reinforces the fact that I think this was, one of the few kind of right people that I found over the years to kind of take, yield that role, because, people who want power, don't deserve it or can't handle it. And the people who don't want it are usually best suited for it. In this case, I was basically turned down because I think he realized, again, like, being Moot is actually not so desirable, and being able to kind of pitch in part-time on the side and just use the site is a lot more fun than kind of having thousands of angry detractors screaming at you, screaming bloody murder for every change you make. And I hear the same thing from a lot of we have a lot of janitors actually resign, same thing, not because they get driven out, but because, again, like, your relationship with the site changes dramatically once you start volunteering for it, because you go from being just a user to a certain kind of sense of responsibility or obligation, and for the most part, it makes it like not very fun. I mean, it really, again, I think normal users have the kind of luxury of, again, being able to enjoy the site without any sort of again, any sort of baggage. Whereas somebody who volunteers, or say is the administrator of the site, all of a sudden has all this baggage, and if you truly enjoy using the site, then it again, it really changes your relationship with the site, and it kind of starts to make it look more like work than a leisure thing, or kind of a passion thing. So so that's just a long-winded way of saying, again, like, I don't think there really are people who are equipped to I think it'd be really challenging to find a single individual that's kind of equipped to take on all of the responsibility. And again, it's not to say that I'm some shiny Pokemon, and there's only one of me, in the sense that there's nobody who is qualified ever and ever. It's just, again, it's a lot to take on for any individual, and I'm shocked that I was able to make it this far. And so I think, again, that there won't be kind of one administrator going forward. I think it'll probably be an assortment of people, but it's hard to to, again, know who exactly that person or persons will be right now. And as soon as I know, I'll make an announcement. Let's see. So number 613, who do we direct admin questions to? To what things would we email? The kinds of things that we would email you in the past. How do we get in touch with them? Use the feedback form. So we have this this feedback form. It's linked from the front page. It's at the bottom of the page for www.4chan.org/feedback, and you can submit basically bug reports or complaints or feature suggestions. So the transition people all have access to that. Well, let me think. Yeah, they do. And I didn't do a great job at updating it. We did actually, especially the programmer always checked in, so it's actually great for bug reports because he checks it very frequently. I honestly didn't check it as often as I might have liked to, and didn't really respond to many questions. But I did, again, just as I read all my email, I did read all of the feedback questions. So that would be the best way to be in touch going forwards. Number 614, are you going to add L back before you leave? Nope. Are you going to post the trip code in the future? I don't think so. I don't see why I would. I mean, I can post anonymously, or I can. We added an admin emeritus cap code that I guess I can use if I do want to be identified. Are you planning on coming back as an admin again? I've probably answered this 3 times already, in a very long-winded fashion. But again, now I think you guys are just gonna have to learn to love or hate a new admin. Whatever capacity I'll return as would be as anonymous, or again an emeritus without the keys to the castle. How do you think the culture of 4chan will change now that your influence from the top will be missing? Number 615. I don't know. Again, it's been a the team and 4chan has been a mootocracy from the start. Again, I didn't do a great job at really accepting and kind of asking for the input of the other team members. I did. I every now and then I would run something by and just say, what do you guys think about this thing that I'm thinking about? And I really do, again, look at my email and the community kind of in general to help guide my decision-making process. But at the end of the day, those are just kind of a handful of inputs that I've used to, I've always had that 100% executive decision making ability. And so, it will be really different. I mean, one of the transition people, kind of asked me, I think, a little bit